Welcome to episode 1 of Gina's Table. I am so glad that you're here. If you haven't already, grab yourself a cup of coffee, an iced tea, and let's get comfortable and talk about what's happening here at Gina's Table. I have been planning and anticipating this time together, and I can't wait to tell you about what the future holds. First, I thought I should take a minute and introduce myself. My name is Gina Colburn. I'm 47 years young. I've been married to my high school sweetheart, Jason, for 29 years this month. We have 4 biological children, Brooklyn, Jordan, Colton, and Kaylin, 1 bonus daughter, Michelle, and 2 beautiful granddaughters, Ruby and Nora. They are pretty much the highlight of our life. We love our family. Jason and I have grown up and are hoping to grow old together. It's been a beautiful journey, and I know that as we have more time at the table, we'll talk about some of those things. We both grew up in the Midwest. Jason is a Hoosier. He was born and raised in southern Indiana. I was going to say central Indiana. Oh, no. Southern Indiana. And I was raised in Missouri and Kansas, and we have spent most of our time in the Midwest. However, we spent 7 years in the Northeast and fell in love with the Northeast. We love all the places that you can go and explore when you live in the Northeast. My favorite city of all is Washington, D.C. One day maybe you will find me planted there. But for now, we are planted in Lenexa, Kansas. And what a journey, an exciting journey that has been. I went to school as an adult at Indiana Wesleyan University and got my degree in Christian ministries. And I have spent 25 years in pastoral ministries. I love a good book. I love to read. I always set a goal of about 50 books a year. This year I upped that to 60. We'll see how I do. I think I'm on book 6 or 7 of the year. I'm going to need to up that if I get to that goal. As I have already said, I love iced tea. It is my drink of choice. I do not like coffee, and I know that disappoints some of you, and it puts me on the outside of the table sometimes. But whatever your drink of choice is, I hope that we can be friends here at Gina's Table. On Christmas Eve of this year, I closed out 25 years of pastoral ministry. And it was then that I realized that there was a new chapter waiting for me and a lot of question around that. But that has led us to here, to Gina's Table. And so I just want you to know why I came to this and how it came to be, a little bit of the background of Gina's Table, the mission of Gina's Table, and what we're going to do going forward. First of all, if you know me, you know the significance of the table. This particular table we have had for 23 years. We bought when our youngest daughter was born, and I was a pretty big stickler about family meals around the table. I'm a little more laxed at that, as now not everybody lives at home and they're older and all of those things, but I love the table. This particular table that I'm at today has literally had hundreds of people around it. We have had lots of meals, lots of laughs, lots of crying, lots of games played. The significance of this table is powerful to me. And I cannot imagine a place in this world where there's no tables. I just can't get away from the fact that we need to reclaim the table for so many reasons. But here are a few reasons that propelled me to this space. First of all, I believe we need more tables and less platforms, stages. I don't think we need more talking heads, but I think we need more places where people can sit around tables, build community, build relationship, learn how to talk through our differences, to resolve conflicts, and to go deeper in those places that we are desperate for community. We need more tables, not more stages. I also believe that we need more tables and fewer screens. We all can find ourselves scrolling endlessly. And oftentimes when we're scrolling endlessly, we find ourselves more lonely or comparing our life to someone else's, because highlight reels on someone's social media makes us feel less than. So I begin to be convicted over the course of time, and this isn't new, but over the course of time, of how we need more tables and less screens. Because of these thoughts about needing less platforms and less screens and more tables, it led me to do some research that I've been doing pretty intently over several years. But 1 in 4 adults feel lonely. We are a world that has never been more connected, and yet we're the loneliest. There's a yearning in our heart for community that I believe we are born with, to be part of something, to know we belong, and yet we're not finding that right now. And so we're desperate for community. The other thing that it led me to is 58% of Americans feel like no one knows them well. No one knows their birthday. No one knows their struggles. No one knows what keeps them up at night. 58% of Americans. The statistics on loneliness and isolation are not isolated to one generation or age group. This is across all age groups, from the youngest to the oldest, are reporting these huge statistics on loneliness and isolated. We have to do something. 89% of people, religious and non-religious, report being spiritually hungry. They have questions about their spiritual well-being. And when you couple that with the fact that the church in America has been on the decline for the past 60 years, people are desperate for a place that they can go and ask questions and find answers to the spiritual questions that they have. We are all spiritual beings, and there is something in everyone that is yearning for a place that they can go just as they are to find the answers that they need. We need more tables, not more stages, not more screens. Because of this, because of all of these things that I just said, I want us together to create a movement of tables. While this one is on a screen, I realize the irony of this. I want to help you create your own table, where you begin to claim your neighborhood and your community and build a place for people to belong. I think this is vital to the future of ourselves, of our world. Each month I am going to be providing you with a Tabl Talk conversation starters. So what this is going to do is it's going to help you invite people from screen to table, from shallow to deeper. It's going to be a way to help you have those conversations. Maybe you're like, I've never done that before. I wouldn't even know where to start. And what do you talk about? This is going to be a tool to help you build your own table, to help people see their place for community. Now let me switch gears just a bit and give you a couple other statistics that go with the table. And these are also important. 1 in 5 children in the US go to bed hungry. They do not have the food that they need on any given day. 1 in 5 in the US, where you and I live, kids are going to bed hungry. The national school lunchroom debt every year, this I cannot wrap my mind around, is $262 million a year. That averages out about $180 per child per year. Because of this, Ginas Table is going to partner with local schools to help eliminate lunchroom debt, so that each child will be able to eat the meal that the school has to offer. This means that in your community, as you begin to build your table where you live, wherever that is, you can say, I'm going to be part of the solution. We're going to be not just meeting in our homes around tables and getting to know each other and building community, although that's vital, but we're going to rally behind something else. And when you create your own table in your community and you let me know that, then I'm going to help create the partnership with the local schools that's going to help you be able to do something outside of yourself. And perhaps it's going to lead to more opportunities around your table. I can't wait to see how this spreads. Gina's Table is a place where we are going to address all types of things, all the things that I've already talked about, but I want to create spaces where it is safe for all people to come and have a table. A place where we can talk about literally everything from T Swift and Travis Kelce. Go Chiefs! Back to back, two in a row. Can we do 3? I don't know. Books, parenting, marriage, singleness, dating, sex, food, the Bible, Jesus, politics, and so much more. I hope that you come back week after week to go on this journey with me. But before we can dive into all of these things that we just talked about, all these topics that we're going to talk about at the table and how we can genuinely have conversations and not just be keyboard warriors, but to have face-to-face conversations, I want to share with you how we can all come to the table together, because I think this is vital. For most of my life, I tried to show up to tables as they wanted me to show up, with all the things and ideas that they expected of me. And most of the time, what that meant was I was leaving part of myself behind. The parts that didn't fit, the parts they didn't like, the parts that made them uncomfortable. Little by little, I was leaving pieces of me behind in order to be at that table. Maybe you can relate. I think this is what so many of us do. We're desperate to find a table that we belong at and where we can be. And so in order for us to be at the table, we leave parts of us behind. But one day recently, I realized that to show up at the table as anyone other than your true self isn't really showing up. When we begin to show up as we are, that is when we can find that deep connection with others. And maybe, just maybe, that's the key to finding true community. And leaving isolation and loneliness behind is that we must first show up at the table as we fully are. Beautiful, flawed, messy, all the things that make us us. And then we will finally be at the right table. You see, the hard work of finding our table begins with us. Not labels that we wear, but our truest selves. Here's the deal. I no longer try to show up at tables and bring my chair and push my way into these places that expected me to be anything less or anything more than what I was. I realized that I want to be at tables where they rejoice when I'm there and encourage me when I'm gone. As I began to move away from tables that no longer fit, I also realized that many want to create a narrative around your exit. Maybe you've experienced this too. Regardless if the narrative is true or not, there always seems to be a narrative. I think it's human nature. I think human nature is we want to know the story. If someone's doing something different, there has to be drama. There has to be a story. But I think, if we're honest, maybe, what if the narrative is simply you grew, you learned, you moved forward, and that just wasn't your table anymore? And honestly, before I could launch Gina's Table and get into all the topics that I hope we talk about, it had to start here, finding who we really are. It's a challenge for you and for me, for us to maybe come to the table even by ourselves for a while, so that we can do the deep work of finding out who we are, healing what has been broken, and getting up a little stronger, a little more confident, and a little more ready for the table that we belong at. Here's the thing. I am positive there is a table for you. I know this at the bottom of my heart, that there is a table for you. Here's the thing. It won't be perfect, because you're not perfect, and neither is anyone else. But the table that you finally find will be perfect for you. So let's come to the table just as we are. Maybe it would be helpful for you to know how I'm coming to the table these days. Some of the things that I've learned. I come to the table with big emotions, creative dreams, a heart to serve, and a bag full of anything we might need. Seriously, you never know who's going to need a Band-Aid, an Advil, a piece of gum, lotion. I am going to be ready. I'm going to be prepared for whatever we might need while we're at the table. I also come with a passion for people to be seen and loved as they are, not as I want them or how someone else wants them, but as they are. I have a deep desire for every person to find a family where they find that safety and security and acceptance that they're longing for. And I have a deep hope that somehow in the midst of this thing called life, you might see Jesus shine through me. At this table, there will be iced tea, good books, some yummy food, and a chair for you. And if we can show up as anybody other than who we're created and called to be, we're doing a disservice to both ourselves and those we are meant to be at the table with. You be you, I'll be me, and we'll see what happens from there. No mask, no labels, just us. I encourage you to show up just as you are, and I can't wait to get to know you. Welcome to Gina's Table.